Thank you for coming, everyone, and nice to meet you all today. My name is Lisa. I work at Proficio. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I've been working in marketing agencies in the last 8 years in Germany, but also in the UK. So I've always worked in international environments, and I've always focused on paid advertising. So I've always helped companies expand into foreign markets. And that's why I'm here today, talking to you a little bit about expanding into the DACH region. So who are we at Proficio? Proficio has been founded 11 years ago now in Brno, not far from here. And we are a marketing agency. We started off with SEA, so PPC, paid social, and then we slowly expanded our services to be a fully encompassing marketing agencies, going from website development, SEO, SEA, all your services that you basically could want and need. We've now got offices across the Czech Republic, but also in Poland and also in Munich in Germany, and that's where I've come from today for you. Here's a little bit of a summary for you. You can download the slides later so you can have a proper read and go on our website and nosy around, and also we'll all be around later for any questions that you might have. Why are we here today to talking to you about expansion, and how are we even qualified to do so? We've got a lot of experience with expanding. We are one of only 3 agencies in Czechia and Slovakia who are part of the iGap program, which is a program with Google where we are top marketing experts in expansion. We've got access to additional resources that we only get because we're part of this program. We've helped some of our clients to expand significantly. For example, Sanitino, we've expanded with them into 8 additional markets, but also other clients, we've helped them grow, for example, the DACH revenue by 3 times in just 1 year. Sad news first, that's the one and only GIF in my presentations. They never work, so never mind. There'll be a lot of numbers, and I really have struggled today to keep my presentation really short because there's so many things I want you to learn and know about the DACH region. So yes, bear with me and I'll speak a little bit faster. And if you have any questions, please just remember them. And after the presentation, you can come to me and find me during the networking or during the break. Yes, our agenda for today will go through a little bit general. What is the DACH market? What are some specifics of the DACH market? What do you need to do when you enter the DACH market? And how would we recommend that you do so? First, some good news. In the past, the DACH market and the DACH consumer was extremely DACH focused. Germans like to buy German things. In recent years, this has shifted a lot, and overall 61% of customers would now also consider buying from foreign providers and brands if they're cheaper than the DACH brand equivalent. So we've become a lot more price sensitive, and we're not that bothered anymore if the product is German or not. Why is the DACH region even a good region to expand to? The DACH market is huge. There's 102 million people, so big consumer base for you there. We are the 3rd or 4th biggest GDP in the world, depending what source you're looking at, after China and the US. So there's a lot of buying power there, and in Europe, in the EU, we're making up 30% of GDP. So if you're going to expand somewhere and you want to make a lot of money, the DACH region is a good region because there's a lot of people with a lot of money. The biggest DACH cities, why is this important to know? Berlin, Hamburg, Munich, Vienna, those are the biggest cities. And it's quite reasonable to assume you can't just go into the whole of the DACH region at once, because we don't all have that much money in the bank to spend on marketing and other things for expansion. It's always very advisable to go into a few test regions first, and the big cities are normally a good testing ground. There's also a special case in the DACH region, and the special case is Switzerland. Switzerland's a little bit more complicated. It's not in the EU, it doesn't just speak German. They have different ways that they buy goods, but still they have a really high GDP and a really high buying power. They earn a lot of money in Switzerland. So don't neglect Switzerland, but don't also neglect the difficulties of expanding into Switzerland because it's not in the EU. And another thing to know, and this is really important to know, we people in Germany are stickler for the rules and for the law. So really, really be precise with this, consult with lawyers. In advertising, when you collect data from users, people don't like if it's not done properly. GDPR is a real big thing for us. So when you expand to the DACH region, make sure that you consult with lawyers to make sure you don't get it wrong, because companies also like to tell on the competition, and they like to tell, oh, he's not doing it right, there's some, and then you get some big fines. So make sure that you consult with some lawyers when you do so. Yes, as I said in the start, consumers are more and more willing to buy from foreign brands, and this has gone up in the last few years significantly. So people are saying that they are fully prepared to buy from foreign brands. 22% of customers are fully prepared to buy from foreign brands if they're cheaper or even if they're better in any other way than a German brand. So really we're moving away from this extremely DACH-centric buying behavior. Yes, so in a nutshell, DACH market, good market to expand to, big market. Make sure you follow the rules, and yeah, the best time to do it is anytime you can, really, because there is a lot of buying power there. How do we shop? How do you get your brand out there? Well, the number one way to get your brand out there is still Google, is still search engines. Yes, everyone will tell you, oh, ChatGPT and oh, TikTok search and all these things. Yes, but search engines are still the number one way that people discover brands. They look for them, or they look for products in the range. So you can see here your access to Germans are basically search engines. Google, it's the biggest search engine with 90% of the market share in Germany. Bing is smaller, and then some very small ones after Bing. But then also shopping, so your Amazon and other retailers like Zalando, Otto and the like, and then also your social media. Yes, DACH consumers shop online more than the average. Another good reason to expand to the DACH region. We just really love online shopping. And another thing to know, we love online shopping. Yes, there is a lot of us. Yes, but we are harder to convert than the average. So you need to get it right with us, and you need to offer us the right product on a good e-shop and good returns and good payment methods and all the good things to actually convert us. Reasons why customers do convert are obviously price, free delivery, return options, and the like. But much more importantly, why they don't convert. And that's a really, really big thing for us, is the returns. So delivery and returns. Free delivery, we just expect that. Because in the 90s, Otto just started this thing with free deliveries. And so everyone in Germany just got used to free deliveries, and we have free deliveries. And if you don't offer free delivery, we don't like you so much. Same with free returns. We will always order a lot more than what we need. So the average return rate in Germany is actually higher than 20%, and in clothing, higher than 40 to 50%. So expect a lot of returns, and factor that into your costs before you decide to expand to the DACH region, because that will eat into your margins by quite a lot. Especially if you are a brand or a product that people are a little bit unsure about, what size will I need? I've never bought from them before. You can expect high returns. But also offer free returns, because it's a almost basic requirement, because otherwise people will be more reluctant to buy and might go to a competitor and buy from them. And then another thing is the payment methods. Germans are a little bit different on that one too. You'd expect credit card being the number one payment method. It's really not. PayPal is the most used payment method in the DACH market. And then there's some really weird things going on. The Swiss really like invoices, but don't underestimate it. Also, Germans still have more than 40% of Germans pay their online shopping by invoice. There's also Klarna, so pay as you go or pay after the fact, so in installments is a really big thing. There's different payment methods in different markets. Research them and make sure that you offer them. Credit card is not, if you only offer credit card, you might have a lot of basket abandonment in your e-shop. And yes, as I mentioned, Klarna, every fourth internet user in Germany has used a buy now, pay later method. So it's really important that you do also offer that in addition to your standard 5-6 different payment methods that we expect to see. Yes, and another really important thing, I mentioned it very briefly when I talked about the legal topic, we don't like to be tracked. A lot of German customers have ad blockers. A lot of German customers also surf incognito. They don't accept the cookies. They use VPNs. It's going to be a lot harder than in other markets to track the data of German customers. So another thing to factor in, respect the GDPR rules, but also look at how you can track the data better. May it be server-side tracking, maybe some different approaches, some calculations that you can make, attribution modeling, things like that. Just make sure you know that you can't track everything in the DACH region. Yes, so summary of this section, a lot of people do shop online regularly. Offering the correct payment method, returns and delivery is crucial for success in the DACH region, and we are super data conscious. In the next section, I'll talk to you very briefly about sales channels. The main websites are still, top 10 websites by visitors are still Google, Amazon and Meta. No surprise there. Especially Germany is a really big Amazon country. I had a conversation with you before about Amazon shopping. Yes, Amazon is a quick gateway to Germany. If you are prepared to sacrifice some of your margin, Amazon can be your big way into Germany. You just launch your product there. You can be sure that if you spend also enough on Amazon advertising, it will sell. Yes, it has by far the highest e-com visibility, and you will do well with Amazon, but really consider it for your margins. It depends on your strategy, and it's something you're going to have to decide as a business before you enter the market. Do I want to grow really fast? Do it with Amazon. Do I want to grow slowly with my own e-commerce shop? Yes, you'll have to do more marketing for your brand, etc., but you will also potentially have healthier margins in a longer term. And there's not only Amazon. I know that in Czechia, a lot of people think Kaufland is the next biggest thing after Amazon, but it really isn't. We instead have other e-commerce and B2C marketplaces, like Otto is really big, eBay is big, Zalando is big. So there's, depending on the market, there's different providers, and Kaufland's actually way down the list. So yes, another way to expand your business, think about the local marketplaces and work together with them. Yes, we talked also before about the considerable expense of going to the DACH market. Yes, it's true. It's expensive to go into the DACH market. There is a lot of competition out there and a lot of advertising spend. So your CPCs in Google and your CPMs in Meta are going to be higher than what you're used to from the Czech and the CEE region. And it's growing. Every year we get more and more spent in PPC, but also in paid social. Yes, you can reach the people in the usual ways. You can reach them in the search engines, you can reach them YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and now also TikTok, depending on your product and your audience. So yes, the DACH market is an Amazon market. The DACH market is a relatively expensive market where you can, if you have the money, spend a lot in advertising, but you do also reach a very broad audience and you can get a very high return for it. So yes, it can be costly, but depending on what your strategy is, you can also take it slow and just go with a little part or one city, as I mentioned before, and just test the waters and see how your e-shop does and take it from there. You don't have to enter the whole DACH market all at once and be afraid from how expensive it is or how competitive it is, because A, we can help you, and B, you don't have to do it all in 1 month. There's some cross-country differences that you also should be aware of. The obvious part, so we've got
the domain that you need to look for, and you need to work for your e-shop, so you have your .de or .at.ch, the language, the product, the legal part, all of these things. But the German customer is really into their details as well. So don't just work with, for example, AI translations for your website. They're good to start with, yes, but you want to make sure that every detail is translated. Also that cookie banner, also the thank you after the checkout, also the newsletter subscriptions, that every detail is translated, so that there is no moment where the customer thinks, I'm a little bit suspicious, I don't know the payment methods quite well, it's not the usual, and now there's a message in a foreign language, maybe I'll buy it on Amazon. And that's how you lose them from your web shop. So make sure that you take into consideration, as I mentioned, payment methods, cultural elements, the reviews and badges. They're a really big thing. We love reviews. We love social proof. So make sure that you subscribe to German review sites, collect German reviews, or collect Google star reviews. Get at the start when you enter the market, maybe do some incentive to get German customers to write some German reviews. That will help you massively gain the trust of the customers. Yes, as I mentioned, if you want the trust and the money from the German customers, make sure you look at every detail, make sure you have your strategy right from the start, and meet the German customer where he wants to be met. Yes. And I also have some more practical details with me today. And I'm actually not running out of time. This is fantastic. You can also scan this QR code. So we have an expansion canvas where basically we help you define your strategy. It's not all-encompassing, and it's of course not every single detail for every single business. If you want some personalized help, we can of course provide that, but it's a good start for businesses who say, I'm not quite sure if the DACH region is for me, but let's check it out and how I can expand into the DACH region. Then do an analysis. It sounds really basic and it sounds really obvious, but so many businesses forget to do this. Analyze your target market. Make sure you know your target audience. Make sure exactly you know who they are. It cannot be, it's all of Germany. It's really not. It's too big. Unless you have endless money pockets, that's too much. So you need to really analyze the target group, the competition, the pricing. Think about your margins. Factor everything. Factor these returns into your margins. Factor shipping costs. If you're going to go to Switzerland, any duties, factor that into your costs. Make sure you know that upfront, so you're not surprised by, I've entered this market, I'm making a lot of revenue, and at the end of the day, I'm getting plus minus zero. Yes, and then this probably is the step that takes the longest time and is the most difficult one. You then have to really prepare your business for it, because yes, you can go out there, you can have your e-shop, you can do your marketing, you can start selling your products, but then if in the background you're not ready and you can't deliver these products or ship them or get the returns processed or don't have any customer service, and there's all of a sudden German customers asking you, but is this shoe larger fit, smaller fit, tight? If you don't have any of this, it's not going to last very long, the German or DACH success. And then when you launch your website, yes, I think I've said this ad nauseum, but make sure that you don't just translate the whole website. Make sure you localize your website. Look at competitors. How are they categorizing the different products? How maybe can you make sure you find the right balance between translations that are quick and efficient, but also make sure that you have translations that make sense from an SEO perspective also, so you can be organically found, but also make sense for the customer. You also have your local trust signals, your review budget. Trusted shops, for example, is one that we use a lot. Yes, and then you can start with your marketing after you've done all of this. And there is a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of things you can do in marketing, but really you don't have to do them all, and you don't have to do them all at once. You can start with your performance marketing channels. You start And then you can slowly move more towards brand campaigns. The advice is never, unless you really have a lot of money, the advice is never just chuck it all out there. The advice is always go slow, start slow, make sure that you learn along the way, that maybe you also have learnings, hey, my customer service not prepared for this or that, or hey, my returns are not working fast enough, or I can't process the payments fast enough. Just go step by step, and the same goes for the marketing. Go step by step, measure it properly, make learnings from your tests, and then move up the funnel. Yes, test and learn. And here's a little bit of a summary of our pro tips. As I said, analyze and then have a structured approach to the DACH market. It's a really big market. It's a huge opportunity. Make sure that you take that opportunity and you take it in a way that is successful for you and your business. Have native marketers. It makes such a huge difference. We see it time and time again. We take over businesses that had marketing teams that were from different markets, and we then take over campaigns and we take over marketing efforts, and with very few simple changes we make such a big impact, because the customer knows when your ads are somewhat AI translated and they're just not as funny as you think they are, or the keywords are, yes, all right, but not quite fitting the market, or the website is, yes, good enough, but could be converting a lot better. Like as I said at the start, like we've worked with one of our clients for a good year now, and we've taken over. They had internal marketing teams in Slovakia, and we've taken over and we've transformed the whole approach of the campaigns and made it really DACH-centric. And we've grown the revenue with the exact same budgets by 300%, just by being more efficient and being more localized and being more knowing the DACH customer, knowing where to invest that money, investing it in a better way has helped them really, really grow. So yes, it's worth having a localized team. Validate your costs, your profits, adapt your strategies, and you're basically good to go. And thank you very much. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, there is a QR code you can scan. And otherwise, we can connect later in the coffee break or also during the networking. And if you have any questions, I think I have 5.5 minutes for questions. Yes. What is the best city to start in with Gen Z goods in Germany? Depends what kind of Gen Z goods we're talking. Young people, what do young people do? A lot of them go to university. So look at possibly university cities. It would be wrong of me to say, yep, Berlin is the one, or yep, Munich is the one city. I would say have a look at where young people go. And at what time you want to reach them, because Gen Z is also relatively broad. Do you want to reach working Gen Z people? Do you want to reach university student Gen Z people? It really depends. I'd have a look at what exactly your target customer is, and then based on that, university cities could be a good shout. Otherwise, bigger cities with the most work opportunities are a good shout as well. Depends on who your target customer is. I think it's closed. Sorry, I don't know your code. And the next question is, historically, the position of Czech companies in DACH was such that they went to the market mainly by low price. Do you notice a difference recently? Low price, of course, helps drive conversion rates. But that's not only true for Czech companies, that's true basically for any company. Low price helps, but that is only one factor, because German, or in general DACH customers, are very, in recent years, eco-conscious, sustainability conscious. If say you're selling mascara, and it's tested on animals and all sorts of things, that's not going to sell no matter how cheap it is. Yes, it will sell for a bit. It's not a very good long-term strategy. So yes, price is important, but if you want longer-term success for your brand and not just be known for, oh, they're cheap, okay, yeah, fine, but when I earn a bit more money, I can buy the better alternative. If you don't want to go down that route, then make sure you have a product of quality that is recyclable, not animal tested, potentially vegan if that's relevant for your product. Like, make sure you have a good quality product, because then you can be a long-term successful brand, because it's shifted away from, oh, we only buy German brands. It's no longer like this. If you're a good quality brand and if you offer something that is worth the money, you don't have to be the cheapest. Yes, I think that was it for questions. Any more? Yes?
Do you think it is needed or expected by a German consumer? Is it needed to have a customer care via phone? Or is it okay to have a customer care via chat or email? Is the telephone number needed?
It really depends what you're selling. If you're selling custom travel experiences, I'd say have someone on the phone. If you're selling shoes, it can be totally fine to have chat support, unless there needs to be some phone support for emergency that you maybe give out after someone's been in the chat, like, I don't know, I've been waiting for my return payment for 3 months and really angry customer. Then you will want to have a phone number that you can give out and say, okay, someone from our team will call you. But otherwise, it's totally fine. It's, of course, product dependent, as I said, but the standard product, it's fine. And in fact, we quite like the chats. All right, that's my time over. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for the questions. And if you want to chat to me, I'll see you later.